This is for all you extreme vapors out there looking for that instant vape gratification. One click of the fire button and she's a chucking the vapor. I'm talking about 1 second pulls. Woohoo! Today I'm going to show you guys how to build the macro coil. So let's dive down and get to it. So what we're going to be using today is A1 24 gauge Kanthal. I bought 250 feet of this stuff from kidneypuncher.com for 17 bucks. Now some of you guys out there are going to be like, oh, that shit's expensive. But for a sample, and 250 feet from me is a sample, I don't think it's bad at all. Next thing I'm going to be using is this screwdriver. I'm going to be wrapping the coil around this tip right here, and I found that the width of this flathead tip is equivalent to a 1/8 inch drill bit. So if you got a drill bit out there that's 1/8, it's perfect. So what I've done was I cut a foot of this 24 gauge Kanthal, and all I'm going to do is cut it into two 6-inch pieces. So two 6-inch pieces right there. Going to be wrapping my first coil, and all we're going to do is 6 wraps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure that all the wraps are as close together as possible. Pinch them together. Okay, just like that. There's one coil right there, and that's the beauty of using 24 gauge. You don't have to torch it. I mean, it's not springy one bit. Once you wrap those suckers, they're in place. Same exact thing for the second coil. 6 wraps with this 24 gauge Kanthal. Here we go. Make sure that all the wraps are as close together as possible. 3, 4, 5, 6. Pinch them together. Straighten out those leads. Just like that. One under, the other over in the same direction. The reason why we call these the macro coils because it's a lower gauge wire. I prefer the 24 gauge over the 22 because it fits on the majority of the RDA posts out there, especially if you just want to run a single coil. But with dual, with the way this deck is, it's perfect. It fits the 24 gauge perfectly, and as you can see, you've got those 2 holes in the positive connection, which makes it super easy to do dual coil. But the reason why these are called macro coils is because it's lower gauge wire wrapped around a thicker drill bit or rod like the 1/8 inch or something like this. And that's a macro coil. It's not micro. Micro is something wrapped around a 5/64 drill bit or a little bit smaller. And then the nano coil is wrapped around something even smaller. And then you got a super nano coil, which is wrapped around something even smaller than what a nano coil is wrapped around, okay? So it's macro, micro, nano, super nano. This is a macro. It's wrapped around something larger, okay? Just like any other build, we're just going to insert these leads in 2 of these posts, insert the other leads from the other coil in the other posts, tighten them down, and tidy up those coils. I pull on one end, pull on the other. You got to work it. Work it a little bit. Bend it up just a little bit. Tighten down the connections. Lift it up. Make sure the coil is not touching the screws on either side. You don't want it to short out. Okay, then what I'll do is I'll clip the leads. Okay, these wire cutters right here, you can get at pretty much any hobby shop. One down, one more to go. Okay, just like the other side, wiggle it in there. Once we got her wiggled in there, tighten her down. That's what I love about this thick wire. You can tighten her down all the way. You don't have to worry about snapping these wires. These wires are thick, man. These things put 28 gauge to shame. 28 gauge is like a little baby wire compared to this. Looking good. And that's before even heating them up. I mean, these wires are so easy to wrap, IMO. Alright, so I'm going to clip this edge. By the way, this is a Brass Monkey RDA, which I just reviewed, sitting on top of the Hades mod. Okay, get in there, squeeze them together. See how they're starting to glow from the inside out? It's what you want. This wire is really easy to work with, in my opinion. I mean, it's tough and it's thick, but when you get it going and you get it going right, this build it's for you mechanical mod nuts. It's a mechanical mod nuts dream, this build right here, this macro coil with a 24 gauge. And they are both glowing evenly from the inside out, and that's what you want. We're going to go ahead and check the resistance on this build. It's about 0.3, 0.32. Okay, this build is 0.32. Like I said, it's for your extreme vapors out there. So you want to make sure that you're using the safest battery. If you're using a regular mechanical mod, you want to make sure you're using the VTC4 18650 batteries. It's a 30 amp battery. And with something like this, I'm using a MNKE 26650. Next step is the organic cotton. Slide a piece through one coil. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll tuck the wick in the cup. And same thing on the other side. And that's all the cotton you need for this build, I'm telling you. I find it performs the best in this wicking mode, where you have just two strands, two short strands where you tuck the ends in that cup. And you get some killer flavor. Killer flavor. Moment of truth. Let's see how she fires up. Oh man, this thing hits like a beast. Look at that. Let's go ahead and vapor. Alrighty, so that's how to build your macro coil. How does she vape? And she chucks it good. Of course, I am using 100% VG, but all I got to say about flavor is it's extreme. Scorching flavor. Scorching. I've got these holes wide open on both sides, and I'm still getting a really warm vape. Now, if you cut the holes off, again, I'm vaping on this Brass Monkey RDA. If you cut the holes down to 1, 1.5, even 2 holes, it's more of a hot to scorching flavor vape. The thickness, you could feel it. It's a thick, dense vape. I know you guys hear me say dense, and you guys hear it a lot, but that's a big keyword when it comes to RDAs, when it comes to coil building. How dense of a vape does a coil bring to the table? And that is a huge topic in my book. Some coils bring low density, some bring a good amount of density, others bring a massive amount. This brings a massive amount within a short burst. It's for those vapors out there that are looking for that short burst hit, those 1 to 2 second draws. And within those 1 to 2 second draws, you're going to get that kick-ass flavor. I gotta do another one of those. Damn! So if you're an extreme vapor and you like to do those short pulls with bursts of flavor, give this a shot. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.